Now, we know that mutants are an integral part of the Marvel Universe, boasting some of the most powerful characters. The X-Men, as a beloved superhero team in the Marvel Universe for over half a century, have evolved from Stan Lee's risky creation to becoming household names. Their enduring appeal can be attributed to compelling and relatable heroes, socially relevant themes and captivating stories, and a constantly expanding roster of characters that resonate with a diverse audience. As the X-Men's ranks have swelled over the years, many team members have had children of their own, passing down the wisdom they gained as young mutants to a new generation. However, the comic book industry often elevates the lesser-known offspring of popular superheroes to much greater level of powers, surpassing their immensely powerful parents, even though they may have limited appearances in the comic books themselves. Many of these superpowered mutant kids hail from parallel universes and alternate timelines, but this definitely does not diminish the fact that these characters are often overlooked in favor of their more recognizable parents. Given this context, it's time to explore the 12 most powerful and awe-inspiring mutant kids with such impeccable mutant abilities that they can effortlessly crush buildings, move mountains, and level multiple cities in one go. So without wasting another moment, let's get right into it. Now, before we go into our explanation, we have a small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Right, thank you. Now let's begin. Franklin Richards. Making his first appearance in the Fantastic Four issue number 4, Franklin Richards has always been famed for his immense powers, standing as one of the most powerful mutants and cosmic beings within the Marvel Universe. Possessing reality-altering abilities, he ranks among the highest echelons of telekinetics, overshadowing even the likes of Charles Xavier and Magneto. Franklin's capabilities have drawn comparison to cosmic entities like the Celestials, so you can only imagine his unparalleled mastery of psionic talents. Franklin's journey into becoming a cosmic force began when he created a separate micro-universe as a young child. Over the years, his latent potential transformed him into one of the most potent mutants in the Marvel vast pantheon. Yet, as the saying goes, great power begets great danger, and Franklin's cosmic-level abilities made him a prime target for some of the universe's deadliest villains. One of his most iconic moments occurred in Fantastic Four issue 604, when he harnessed his telekinetic might to reshape the very fabric of the universe with a mere thought. He summoned an army of heroes from different timelines and dimensions to confront the Celestials. Additionally, Franklin's precognitive abilities also allowed him to foresee multiple alternate futures where he defeated the Celestials and saved himself. But in a moment of self-sacrifice, Franklin transferred his younger self to his universe. Although he met his demise in the battle, his legacy lives on as his younger self remained with his father, completing the Reed family. Franklin Richards, while currently depowered and thus no longer a mutant in the traditional sense, remains an honourable mention in this list due to his astounding legacy and former omnipotence. Born as the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm, Franklin's powers encompassed matter or energy manipulation and psionics, granting him the ability to create entire pocket universes and even control Galactus at one point. His journey led him to the X-Men's realm of Krakoa, where he sought his true identity among mutants. However, a shocking revelation occurred over the course of Franklin's life as he discovered he was not a mutant after all. Professor X disclosed that he had used his extraordinary abilities as a child to manipulate his own DNA, creating the illusion of being a mutant to fit in. This revelation, while intriguing, raises important questions about identity and belonging, which future Fantastic Four stories are poised to explore. Kid Omega, Quentin Quire. Quentin Quire, aka Kid Omega, is famed for his rebellious spirit, which explains why his story first begins as an antagonist, but later he takes a redemptive turn when he joins the Xavier Institute for Mutant Education and Outreach, led by Kitty Pryde. As a member of Jubilee's team, Quentin, along with his fellow mutants, confronted various challenges, including a mysterious menace plaguing Central Park. Their audacious covert mission to neutralize nano-sentinels really brought out Quentin's boldness and cunning intellect. However, Quentin's desire to break free from societal constraints led him to disappear briefly. His island seclusion was disrupted when he was recruited by Thor to aid in a cosmic conflict between the Shi'ar and the Phoenix Force. Quentin's psychic assault on the Phoenix resulted in an unexpected twist as he absorbed a fragment of its immense power and briefly became a literal god named Chandalar for the Shi'ar in their homeworld. Despite being a deity, Quentin's path eventually led him back to Earth, where the Jubilee reached out to him once again. In a pivotal moment, he selflessly sacrificed a fragment of the Phoenix to save Jubilee from sunlight, curing her vampirism and restoring her mutant powers. This act of selflessness and redemption humbled Quentin, prompting his return to the Xavier Institute. Although he briefly lost his powers, his ever-evolving character and growing potential baffles us to this day. Joshua Foley, aka Elixir. In New X-Men Academy X Yearbook issue number 1, Elixir, aka Joshua Foley, was classified as an Omega-level healer, whose unique mutation granted him extraordinary control over biological processes at a genetic level. Initially, his powers were limited to healing minor injuries like scratches and burns, but they later evolved to include more extensive abilities. Now, Elixir can not only heal physical damage, but also reactive suppressed mutant abilities and repair cerebral functions. His touch can resurrect the dead, a divine power showcased in Uncanny X-Men Annual issue number 1, when he resurrected the 16 million deceased mutants in Genosha, demonstrating his potential to create and restore life on a massive scale. Honestly, someone should declare this kid as a mutant god of sorts. As one of only 14 mutants designated as Omega level, Elixir has played a crucial role in many iconic X-Men events, especially in the House of M series. He is also a member of the Five, a group of mutants capable of resurrecting deceased mutants by pooling their abilities, which makes him integral to the mutants' new status quo. But Elixir's journey is not without conflict. Initially, he struggled with his mutant abilities and joined an anti-mutant hate group called the Reavers under peer pressure. However, after using his healing powers to save fellow mutants, including Laurie Collins, he chose to distance himself from the Reavers. Additionally, the events of M-Day, which depowered many mutants, left Elixir as one of the few remaining healers, but he experienced immense personal loss, with friends and fellow mutants dying in a tragic bus explosion that killed 42 mutants. His proficiency in healing extends to detecting and absorbing life force, transferring it between hosts or extinguishing it entirely. Conversely, he can inflict severe damage by touch, even shaping deadly tumors into unique forms. Elixir's mastery of this ability allows him to heal, resurrect, and harm with precision. Furthermore, Elixir's knowledge of human biology expanded significantly with the help of the Stepford Cuckoos and Beast's expertise, making him an all-rounder and probably one of the most vital members of the X-Men. Kid Cable, aka Nathan Summers. Cable boasts one of the most intricate origin stories in Marvel's mutant universe. As the son of Cyclops and Madeline Pryor, a clone of Cyclops' former lover Jean Grey, Nathan Summers' journey began when he was infected with a deadly techno-organic virus orchestrated by the malevolent Apocalypse. In a desperate bid to save his son, Cyclops sent Nathan to a dystopian future, hoping advanced technology could cure him. It was in this grim future that Nathan Summers transformed into the invulnerable Cable, honing his mutant abilities and skills. Cable is recognized as an Omega-level mutant, inheriting telepathic and telekinetic powers akin to his mother Jean Grey's. While his abilities were hindered for much of his life due to the techno-organic virus, a virus-free Cable has demonstrated astonishing feats. He can literally move entire cities with his mind while simultaneously engaged in combat. His combat skills are equally impressive, allowing him to take on the likes of Captain America, Wolverine, and Falcon. In addition to this, Cable's tactical genius shines whenever facing challenges, even defeating the invulnerable Red Hulk through a combination of ingenuity and skill. Throughout his complex journey, Cable has been pragmatic in pursuing his goals, particularly in safeguarding the timeline. His first-hand experiences have made him acutely aware of the consequences of altering history. Despite his serious demeanour, Cable has shown a deep affection for his parents, Scott Summers and Jean Grey, who raised him under the aliases Slime and Red Dayspring. From being a heroic lone wanderer to a mercenary, to a teacher, a father, and mutant messiah, Cable adapts to the ever-changing needs of the world, even when the world and those he loves turns against him. Hope Summers. In case you guys didn't know, Hope Summers actually holds the unique distinction of being the first mutant born after the cataclysmic event of M-Day. Now, this significant event saw the powers of over 90% of Earth's mutants erased, plunging mutant kind into a dire crisis. So naturally, Hope's birth, considered by many as the potential salvation, or well, hope for mutant kind, marked a turning point in their history. Raised and trained by her adoptive father, Cable, in a distant future, Hope was groomed for a momentous role in the present day. Shortly after her own mutant powers manifested, Hope activated the latent abilities of 5 new mutants, demonstrating her innate connection to the mutant community. However, her most momentous moment came when she, greatly augmented by the Phoenix Force, managed to reverse the devastating effects of M-Day. This act allowed new mutants to be born once again, offering a glimmer of hope for the mutant race. In the wake of mutants establishing the sovereign nation of Krakoa, Hope became an integral part of the Five, a group tasked with the extraordinary responsibility of resurrecting deceased mutants mutants, further solidifying her significance in mutant society. Now, Hope Summers possesses the extraordinary power of mimicry, which allows her to replicate the mutations and powers of nearby mutants. What sets her apart is her capacity to use these replicated powers to their fullest extent. As an Omega-level mutant, Hope's powers have an undefinable limit, making her one of the most potent mutants in existence. However, there is a significant drawback to her abilities. While she can harness and wield these powers to their full potential, the immense energy and potential volatility involved puts those around her at risk. With her striking red hair and her connection to the enigmatic Phoenix Force, Hope Summers remains a complex and pivotal character in the world of Marvel mutants, with her full potential yet to be fully realized. Charles Xavier II. Charles Xavier II, hailing from one of the Marvel's potential future timelines, has a lineage that intertwines the legacies of the original Professor X and Mystique. Now, born as the son of Professor Charles Xavier and Mystique, who had assumed the guise of Moira McTaggart during their encounter, Charles' life took a tumultuous turn from the very beginning. Abandoned at birth, his emerging mutant powers inadvertently led to the death of his foster mother, setting the stage for his journey into darkness. Notably, Charles Xavier II rose to prominence in the X-Men's Battle of the Atoms storyline, where he wielded pretty powerful telepathic abilities. His powers allowed him to manipulate the minds of the X-Men from his timeline, reshaping them into a new brotherhood of mutants. Driven by a belief that Professor X's original missions had been corrupted, Charles aimed to rectify what he saw as a deviation from his father's vision. In a daring move, Charles and his reluctant recruits crossed over to Earth 616, launching an attack on the Jean Grey School. Their objective was to return the time-displaced young X-Men to their original timeline, which was ultimately thwarted by the heroes. Charles Xavier II's immense telepathic prowess became evident as he effortlessly controlled an entire team of X-Men, showcasing abilities on par with, if not surpassing, his father. However, what set him apart was his cunning and manipulative nature, distinguishing him as a far more menacing presence than the benevolent and somewhat kind Professor X.
Overgrown trash can?
Jubilee. Jubilation Lee. Jubilee, often associated with her colourful 90s appearance, is a character who's faced her fair share of misconceptions and stereotypes. Jubilation Lee was born into a life of privilege in Beverly Hills. She attended prestigious private schools and excelled as an aspiring Olympic-level gymnast. However, this charmed existence took a tragic turn when her parents lost their wealth in the stock market crash and were subsequently killed by a hitman. Naturally, Jubilee's life crumbled and she was thrust into an entirely different reality. Her mutant powers, initially dormant, emerged during high-stress situations, allowing her to create dazzling fireworks from her hands, appearing benign but capable of turning houses into ash when unleashed to their full potential. After her parents' death, Jubilee found herself in an orphanage briefly before running away and living in a shopping mall. Surviving by stealing and using her powers for panhandling, she drew the unwanted attention of mutant hunters, known as the M Squad, but the X-Men intervened to save her, marking her first introduction to the mutant superhero world. Her curiosity led her to secretly follow them to their base, where she took refuge. Jubilee's life took a significant turn when she saved Wolverine from an attack and tended to his wounds. Eventually, Wolverine became her mentor and introduced her to the X-Men. Her journey continued as a member of Generation X, a group of mutant teenagers who trained at a different mutant school in Massachusetts under the guidance of Banshee and Emma Frost. During this time, Jubilee showcased her intellect and sarcasm, distinguishing herself as a capable mutant in her own right. The tragic House of M storyline affected Jubilee profoundly, as she lost her mutant powers like so many others. Jubilee's character went through various iterations, including a period with the New Warriors, during which she gained new non-mutant powers through technology. However, these changes departed from her iconic character, emphasizing the nostalgia associated with her original persona. Another significant shift occurred when Jubilee was infected with a vampire virus, altering her personality and powers. William Kaplan. William Billy Kaplan, aka Wiccan, is the reincarnated son of Scarlet Witch and Vision, making his existence quite a mystery within the Marvel Universe. Possessing magical abilities akin to his mother's, Wiccan is recognized as one of the most powerful mages globally, earning a prominent place among the Young Avengers. Wiccan's magical repertoire is vast and versatile, as he can cast spells with diverse applications, including energy blasts, telekinesis, force fields, lightning-based attacks, and illusions, showcasing the depth of his magical prowess. However, Wiccan's destiny extends beyond his current capabilities. He is the designated successor to Doctor Strange as the next Sorcerer Supreme, inheriting the responsibility to safeguard magical forces. Furthermore, he is prophesied to become the Demiurge, a reality-warping entity with godlike powers, destined to rewrite the very rules of magic itself. In a previous instance, Wiccan briefly assumed the role of the Demiurge, granting him omnipotence, omniscience, and the ability to shape the universe according to his will. This extraordinary potential sets him apart as a character of unparalleled significance in the Marvel Universe, holding the powers to reshape reality and time itself. Rachel Summers. Hailing from Earth 811, the infamous Days of Future Past universe, Rachel belongs to quite a lineage that includes an alternate reality Cyclops and Jean Grey as her parents. Her journey unfolds as she employs her astral projection abilities to venture into Earth 616 and catches the attention of an intrigued Phoenix Force that intervenes to displace her from her timeline just moments before her demise on a perilous mission, casting her into Earth 616. Within the ranks of the X-Men, Rachel emerges as one of the team's most resilient heroes. Her array of powers encompasses telepathy and telekinesis akin to Jean Grey's abilities, but Rachel possesses unique psionic talents. Among these, her chrono-skimming ability stands out, shielding her from temporal alterations and enabling her to project consciousness into the past or future. Rachel's extraordinary status extends to her connection with the Phoenix Force, which deemed her a worthy host. Under its influence, she attains godlike power and cosmic awareness, effortlessly besting even frightening foes like Galactus. When it comes to telekinesis and telepathy, Rachel's prowess ranks among the highest in the Marvel Universe. Her telepathic abilities have grown to the point where others can sense her potent presence in their minds, and her telekinetic powers defy conventional limits, granting her control over molecular and subatomic structures, including genetic codes, exemplifying mastery over the very essence of life. A pivotal moment in Rachel's journey unfolds during a cosmic clash with Corvus, a Shi'ar warrior wielding the Phoenix-infused blade. Their battle exposes Rachel's powerful telekinetic abilities, as when she intercepts the blade's deadly strike, a profound psychic connection forms between them. Delving into Corvus's tragic history, Rachel gains a surge of cosmic energy, transforming her aura from golden to the vibrant blue of the Phoenix-infused blade. With a thought, she neutralizes a Shi'ar Chancellor's coercive implant, freeing Corvus from its control. Apart from that, Rachel's telekinetic might extends to creating micro-black holes, a phenomenon of immense power that warps the very fabric of space. Catherine Pryde. Kitty Pryde has constantly proven herself as one of the X-Men's most powerful and iconic members since her debut in Uncanny X-Men issue 129. At the tender age of 13, Kitty discovered her mutant gift and chose to attend Professor Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, where her powers continued to evolve. Her character arc gradually unfolded as she became an integral part of the X-Men, showcasing her unflinching rebelliousness, brutal honesty, and unwavering passion. In the What If comic storyline, Wolverine, Enemy of the State, Kitty was forced to confront a mind-controlled Wolverine who had become an unstoppable killing machine. She literally phased her hand into Wolverine's head and solidified it, instantly killing him to prevent further devastation. Plus, Kitty survived the Age of Apocalypse, although it came at the cost of adopting a harsher persona, where she became a skilled assassin with retractable artificial claws and fought for survival. During the Black Vortex crossover event, Kitty and the X-Men joined forces with cosmic heroes to prevent the Slaughter Lords from gaining ultimate celestial power. Kitty willingly embraced the power of the Black Vortex, granting her cosmic abilities. With these newfound powers, she phased out an entire planet and defeated the parasitic alien race, the Brood. At one point, when Peter Quill retired as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, Kitty took up the mantle and became Star-Lady, joining the team. Elsewhere in the Uncanny X-Men issue 168, Kitty even confronted Professor Xavier about his decision to demote her from the X-Men, fearlessly challenging his actions and calling him out for his hypocrisy. In the astonishing X-Men run, Kitty made a heroic sacrifice by merging herself with a giant bullet aimed at Earth. She became intangible and phased through the planet, saving it from destruction. Lastly, Kitty's powers played a pivotal role as she travelled back in time to warn the X-Men about Senator Robert Kelly's assassination. Her ability to focus and phase her consciousness into her younger self altered the timeline, preventing a dystopian future. In short, if she wanted to, she could probably phase the world towards annihilation. Prodigy. David Alline. David Alline, aka Prodigy, might not be the most famous mutant in the X-Men roster, but he did leave an indelible mark on its fans. Introduced in Marvel's New Mutants, David weathered the storm of M-Day, an event that saw millions of mutants depowered, leaving only a few hundred with their abilities intact. David unfortunately fell into the former category, becoming a regular human. Despite this, his dedication to the mutant cause kept him working alongside the X-Men, particularly during a time when mutants without powers were targeted. Before that, David's mutant abilities allowed him to mimic the skills and knowledge of those in close proximity. However, this unique power came with a mental block that limited the duration of these acquired abilities. The removal of this mental block was explored in the storyline Too Much Information, revealing a potential dark side when the empowered David became a megalomaniac. During Kieron Gillen's run on the Avengers, David briefly joined the team in their quest to find Patriot across the multiverse. Initially hesitant about becoming an X-Men, David's perspective evolved over time. He was initially invited to teach at the school, but the realization that the world viewed him as a mutant, regardless of his powers, profoundly changed him. Eventually, he became an integral part of the X-Men, working alongside Cyclops as a frontline soldier, combining his intelligence with combat skills. After M-Day, the Cuckoo Sisters played a pivotal role in restoring all the knowledge David had absorbed over the years through his powers, granting him access to the super science and martial arts skills of prominent X-Men. As the X-Men's world evolved under Jonathan Hickman's direction, mutants had the opportunity to regain their powers through crucible battles and resurrection protocols. While it's presumed that Prodigy underwent this process, the status of his once limiting mental block remains uncertain. Magic. Illyana Rasputin. Magic made her debut in the pages of giant-size X-Men issue number 1 in 1975, long before her prominent role in the New Mutants. This special issue introduced a new generation of X-Men, including iconic characters like Wolverine, Storm, and Colossus. Magic is a mutant sorceress who is kidnapped and taken to Limbo by the malevolent Belasco while under the X-Men's care. Illyana aged significantly in Limbo's time, mastering dark arts in the process. Her mutant teleportation abilities eventually allowed her to return to the X-Men, where she joined Professor Xavier's younger proteges, the New Mutants. Throughout her adventures with the New Mutants, Magic faced profound challenges and exhibited a mischievous exterior that concealed a deeply traumatized and lonely soul. She sacrificed herself to prevent Limbo from corrupting Earth, but was reborn as her innocent child self. Tragically, she succumbed to the deadly legacy virus. However, Belasco's manipulations revived her without a soul, leading her to take control of Limbo and manipulate her former allies. The experience reconnected her with the X-Men and she became a valuable member. In recent times, Magic has embraced a teaching role, serving as one of the great captains of Krakoa, responsible for training and leading mutants in battle. She also imparts her magical knowledge at Strange Academy, further cementing her place in the superhero and magical communities. Marvelous verdict. The roster of mutant kids with impeccable powers is pretty long, but these 12 really make quite a dent without getting lost in the sea brimming with mutant characters. Each of these mutants are an indomitable force of nature with unwavering potential in a new X-Men crew. Leveling cities, moving mountains, creating pocket universes, raising the dead, manipulating reality itself, these mutant kids seem to be able to do it all. So now that we have reached the end of this very video, which mutant kid, according to you, holds the true potential to rise to the likes of Wolverine? Please let us know your opinion in the comments box below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.